Look, we all know cars aren't exactly a great investment, right? But it turns out electric vehicles, well, they're a whole other story. They have a depreciation problem that might just shock you. So let's figure out what's really going on with the resale value of EVs.
We've all heard this one. It's the painful, fundamental rule of owning a car. And yeah, that first hit when you drive off the lot, that's a given for any car. But the long-term plunge for a lot of EVs is on a totally different level.
And here it is. This is the number at the heart of the whole thing. On average, an electric vehicle loses a staggering 59% of its value in just the first 5 years. I mean, that is a huge financial hit for any owner. Now, this is where it gets really interesting when you add some context. That 59% for EVs, it's way, way higher than the overall industry average, which sits at about 46%. That 13-point gap, that's the mystery we're going to unravel today. Why the extra drop for electric cars?
So, to really get a grip on that average, you got to look at the extremes. Because when it comes to holding their value, the EV market has some of the biggest winners and, oh yeah, some of the most dramatic losers you'll ever see.
And wow, this table just lays it all out. On the left, you've got EVs with just astonishing losses. I mean, the Jaguar I-Pace, it plummets 72%. Even super premium cars like the Tesla Model S and the Porsche Taycan drop around 60%. But then look over to the right. The gas-powered Porsche 911 and Boxster, they hold their value incredibly well. So this tells you it's not just about the brand, it's about what's powering the car.
Okay, so what in the world is causing this massive drop? Well, we've kind of played detective here, and we've pinned it down to 4 key factors that really explain why EVs have been losing value so fast. First, just a super quick refresher. Depreciation, it's just the gap between what you buy a car for and what you can sell it for later. It's one of the biggest costs of owning any car, but it's one we don't always think about. And for EVs, it has been a very, very big cost. All right, here are our 4 culprits. First up, we're going to look at who was buying these cars in the first place. Second, the really surprising effect of government incentives. Third, the ridiculously fast pace of technology. And finally, just how people think about the practical side of owning an EV. Let's start with the buyers. For a long, long time, EVs were basically luxury goods. The folks buying them were early adopters, they had more money to spend, and frankly, they were just less worried about resale value. That's a pretty common thing in the luxury car market, which, by the way, almost always has higher depreciation. Okay, this part is fascinating. You'd think a $7,500 tax credit would be a win-win, right? Well, not so fast. It has this hidden side effect. It basically lowers the real price of a brand new EV. So when it's time to sell that car, used buyers know the original owner got a huge discount, and they bake that knowledge into their offer, which pulls down the resale value for the entire market. It's crazy. Now for our next big reason. I like to call it the tech treadmill effect. It's kind of like your smartphone, right? EV technology is just evolving so incredibly fast that a model from just a few years ago can suddenly feel, well, ancient. And this slide is the perfect example. Just look at this explosion in range. A decade ago, the median range was maybe 70 miles. Today, it's around 250. It's more than tripled. So why would you pay top dollar for a used EV that gets 150 miles when the new ones offer so much more? And it's not just the range. The tech underneath is making these huge leaps. Newer EVs are moving to 800-volt systems, which can literally cut your charging time in half compared to the older 400-volt cars. That kind of progress makes older models a lot less attractive, and, you guessed it, it pushes their value down. But hey, here's a common fear we can actually put to rest. A lot of people worry about the battery just dying on them and costing a fortune. The reality is, batteries are proving to be way more durable than anyone expected, and the cost to replace them is going down. So while the tech is moving fast, the heart of the car is actually holding up really well. Okay, now get ready for the plot twist, because everything we've just talked about, that's kind of the before story. The future of used EV prices is about to be shaped by a brand new massive force, leasing. You have to see this incredible shift. In early 2023, about 17% of new EVs were leased, which is pretty normal for the car industry. But by late 2025, that number had shot up to, get this, 71%. That is a seismic shift, and it means a massive wave of 2- and 3-year-old EVs is about to come flooding back to dealerships.
And what does that wave look like? This number. By 2028, we're expecting nearly 1 million used EVs to hit the market every single year. That is a fundamental change to the whole supply and demand equation. So what does all this mean for you? Well, it's economics 101, right? A huge increase in supply with demand still trying to catch up creates a buyer's market. And that means used EV prices are probably going to stay pretty low and attractive for a while. So the market is really at a crossroads. The old force that was pushing values down, those federal tax credits, that's gone. But now, this new, even bigger force is taking its place, that massive tsunami of off-lease cars. It's creating a whole new ballgame for EV values.
So, with everything we've learned, how do you make a smart move? How can you actually own an EV without taking a massive bath on depreciation?
Okay, here is the single most important rule to remember through all of this. For almost any car, whether it's gas or electric, the worst of the depreciation is over by about year 8. The value curve starts to flatten out, all the financial pain is really front-loaded into those first few years.
And that really boils it down to 2 smart plays for you. Path number 1, if you're gonna buy an EV, plan to go the distance. Keep it for 8 years or more. That way you ride out that steep drop. But what if you're someone who just loves getting a new car every 2 or 3 years? The answer is simple. Don't buy it. Lease it. Let the car company worry about the resale value.
So all this leaves us with one final thought. With the rapid tech changes and all these market forces at play, maybe buying a new EV isn't a bad investment. Maybe it's just a different kind of investment, one that requires a totally new strategy. It's not just about what you buy anymore, it's about how long you plan to own it.